Okay, so this week's Eastenders debate is about Richard Blackwood. Yes, that's right, people, you heard me correctly, Richard Blackwood, and about him joining the show. Interesting, I have to say, really interesting. He's meant to be set to appear on the 30th anniversary, so as you already know, there's a lot of things that already happened on the 30th anniversary. So another big thing, new character, whole new role, and yeah, Richard Blackwood was meant to be joining the EastEnders team. So, first things first, do you think he's going to be connected to any characters currently on the show? One thing that I did see, and I did think that could be interesting, Kim was married, got pregnant, so it could be obviously, Kim's husband who she's got married to, and he's come to try and sort things out with Kim. Not sure whether that will actually be the case. Being honest, from the way I'm actually hearing it at the moment, it sounds like he's just going to be a completely fresh character who comes into the show. It doesn't sound like he's going to have any ties. I can't say that for certain though, but it sounds like he's going to be completely fresh. Now, obviously, when I first heard about this, if anybody knows Richard Blackwood, he's actually a comedian. So the first thing I thought is he's going to be like, a light-hearted, warm-hearted kind of person who's probably going to bring some comedy to the show. I thought that's the way they'll probably want him to be. But from what I actually hear, he's actually going to be taking a villain role, which I think is quite interesting. I think at first it's going to be hard to see him in that light, just knowing, me personally knowing who he is and knowing his past work. It's going to be hard to see him in that frame of work. But then I guess that all just comes down to his own skills. If he can bring off that persona, then he'll be able to pull it off and make it believable, judging on his own acting skills. So even though I know him for comedy things, if he is good, which I believe he is a pretty good actor, to be honest, he should be able to pull off a villain role. But I do hear that he still does want to bring a bit of comedy to the show. So, maybe like a villain who doesn't take himself too seriously, or he's going to have some lame punchlines and things like that. But I think it'll be pretty good to see. As a villain role, it just makes me wonder, is this going to mean that there's going to be feuds and stuff like that? Because when you think of the villain role, there's got to be a reason for him to be a villain in the first place. So I'm assuming there may be a feud that happens or something like that, and that's where you start to see his more dark side, and that's when you see what he's really capable of, that kind of thing. So it just makes me wonder what's going to happen. I mean, will he pick a feud with Phil Mitchell kind of thing? Because as we all know, Phil Mitchell really is the boss of the square. He's the biggest one of them all, isn't he, really and truly? So I don't think he will pick a feud with Phil Mitchell though, for two reasons. A, it's just too obvious, it'd be a huge thing where he's the most likely character to go for, because as I said, he's the biggest big shot on the square basically. And two, to be honest, from the way it sounds, he's going to be quite a permanent character, and I think if he goes against Phil Mitchell, it just can't work. I just don't think it can work, because I don't think Richard Blackwood's going to be the guy who takes down Phil Mitchell. So for that reason alone, I don't think his feud will be with him. But I'm really interested to see what he can do, see what he can bring to the show. What do you guys think about this? I'm not sure if everybody's going to know who Richard Blackwood is, because he was a bit more known back in the day kind of thing, so whether people will know who he is at this point in time, but for some generations they will remember him and know who he is. So what do you think about him joining the show? Are you excited to see what he's going to do? How do you feel if he's actually going to be a villain? Is it a thing where you too used to seeing him as a good guy, funny guy kind of thing, to actually see him as a villain? I'm interested just to see what he can bring to the show, quite personally. From the way they're saying it, I mean, his debut alone is meant to be quite explosive, so it sounds like he's going to come in with a bang. So hopefully he makes a good impact from the get-go and he just becomes a strong character straight away. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I'd like to know your guys' comments, so let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. If you did like it, please remember to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe as well. And also feel free to check out my channel currently, as I do other videos such as music, comedy and blog videos, and also do the rap roundups, which are dedicated to EastEnders as well. Thank you very much for watching, guys, but until next time, it's Python signing out. Peace.